Let's paint together and make some really cute little whimsical pages and creations for our junk journals today. So I've been using this piece of cardboard as my paint palette, and I think she's about ready to retire, but I do think I'm going to keep her and maybe hang her in my studio or something, like on my gallery wall. I just love all the colors. Anyway, I'm just grabbing my favorite paint colors and paper goods, and I'm just going for it. I'm using some acrylic paint, and I'm going to start off with some 67-pound cardstock. It's already got a little bit of some paint marks on it from using it as a drop paper from another project. Lately, I've been really enjoying experimenting with different mediums, especially acrylic paint and watercolors. I just love brushing on random colors and smushing them around and just seeing how I can make all of the different colors blend together in different ways. So I have zero professional painting training or any kind of background really, and certainly do not claim to be a quote good or technical painter or anything, but I just love to play like when I was a kid, just creating completely recklessly and without fear of being judged, and simply making things, anything, with all of the different colors that make me happy. I also really love combining different finishes, like with this one there's like the matte background and just adding some bursts of light reflecting mediums such as metallics or glitter. And get ready because there's going to be lots of glitter and metallic paint to come in this video. So I really want to know, do you like painting sounds? Like the stroke of a paintbrush on paper or a canvas? I am so ultra sensitive to sound in the best and worst way possible. Certain loud or abrupt sounds are a complete sensory nightmare for me, but there's some sounds, like just the sounds of everyday little things and little happenings, can be really comforting to me. Obviously, paper sounds are some of my most comforting. I also really like paint sounds, plastic noises, a clock ticking. I love the sounds of a typewriter or typing, clinking glassware, things like that. Please let me know if you can relate and what are your comfort sounds. Next up, I'm using this plain grid paper. It's very lightweight, but I am just going to apply paint directly to the paper. I know some people like to gesso paper first, but I'm impatient and I just wanted to see how it would work just painting right on the page, and I'm surprised how well it turned out. Obviously, the page got very wet, so it dried crinkly, but that's always what I go for. The more crinkly, the better. And it didn't seep through the page as much as I thought, so you could totally journal on the back side of this page if it was in your journal. Next, I decided to use some vellum paper. I have never used acrylic paint on vellum before, so this was an interesting experiment. It did turn out well in the end, but working with it was a bit difficult because this material curls up on itself as it gets wet, so it was quite messy working with it, but again, it did turn out beautifully in the end, and I love that you get the color payoff on both sides of the paper since it's transparent. Also, just a PSA, I am so sorry if the aggressive brushing hurts your heart. It's honestly kind of hurting mine as I'm watching this back, but I was honestly just lost in a moment, guys. Forgive me. I'm still learning about the different sounds that are and are not as appealing for ASMR videos. Always a humble learner over here, so I'll try and be more mindful of that next time. So recently I was working on another project and I had some leftover paint on my palette and didn't know what else to do with it, so I decided to paint one of my junk mail envelopes, and now I'm hooked and I just want to paint all of the envelopes. I've been using them as tuck spots and backgrounds for journal spreads. And I also made this cute little resealable pouch with this Ziploc kind of closure that it came on a plastic bag and I cut it off. It was a little plastic bag from a bathing suit that I ordered, and yeah, I just thought that it was super cute. And then here I'm just pouncing the envelope right on top of the leftover paint blobs. I wish I could think of another word besides blob, but it's the best my brain can conjure up right in this moment. Anyway, besides the point, just pressing them into the little pools of leftover paint, and that kind of gives them a cute little tie-dye type effect. And again, back to my blending of different colors. I just pick colors that I think look pretty together and just blend them together, but I also don't focus too heavily on the blending and making them perfect. I actually really love a sort of messy, imperfect look. This particular color combination with these, oh my gosh, these stunning ocean blues is so cute and making me so excited for my vacation that's coming up next week. So I may just have to use this envelope for a future journal spread about my trip. When all of my papers were dry, I put them under a big heavy book and left them there overnight so they could flatten out a little bit. This was how the vellum papers turned out, so you can see they really curled up around the edges, but they're much better after being flattened out overnight. And also, I'm not too bothered anyway by wrinkles or crumpled up pages. I just think it adds character. Switching gears here a little bit now, I'm using some metallic watercolors instead, and I'm using these really cool coffee dyed tracing papers. I used this technique for some pages in my 2 most recent fairy journals, and I am obsessed. They turned out so beautiful. So this is a really simple beginner-friendly technique, and all you do is get your paintbrush very wet and pick up lots of the watercolor of your choice, and then you just do these quick little tapping motions towards the page to create a splatter effect. You'll need to make sure your brush is very wet or it won't splatter well. Also, this is a very messy technique, so just be sure to cover up your workstation if that's a concern. This is just regular lightweight printer paper that I coffee dyed, and I'm doing the same splatter technique on these. The only thing I'm doing different is I just dragged my brush across the page in a few random areas just to add a little bit of interest and some extra variation, since the page is just a flat cream color. And obviously, since I didn't gesso the page, it does seep through to the other side a little bit, but I like that effect. I was gonna end the video here until I remembered I have so many of these cute little coin envelopes that I thrifted a while back. I think I've seen similar ones to these on Amazon though, if you like them. I just decided to use the watercolors on these also, and I wasn't sure how they would turn out since I would just be painting right on top of the like yellow brownish color of the envelope, but I was pleasantly surprised when they dried how vivid the colors showed up, and the metallicness was metallicing. So they'll be really adorable journal editions. So now that all the envelopes have dried, you know what comes next if you're familiar with my style, and that is glitter, of course. And my technique for adding glitter is basically just going for it. I like adding just little pops of it, so I'll brush a little bit here, a little bit over there, just enough that it catches the light in certain areas. So these are the final results of my painted papers. I could just crinkle these all day and all night and never get sick of it, honestly. I'll definitely be using these in my own journaling, and I do have plans for a springy journal collection that I'm hoping to start working on next month already, because this Pennsylvanian is ready for the warmth. I'm so sick of this cold, honestly, so I may incorporate some of these fun bright colors in those journals, but we'll see. Anyway, now please enjoy the crinkly and crunchy goodness for the next couple minutes. that is it for this craft with me video. I hope it was cozy and enjoyable for you. If you want to see more videos like this, please let me know in the comments, and by liking this video. It means so much to have you here in this little community, and I'm sending you so much love and big hugs. Bye!